Bullying is something we hear a lot about these days, especially with the rise in those apps that people have on their smartphones that let kids say mean things about each other, and they can do it anonymously.
Oh, sure. There's a new study, though, now shedding more light on just how bullying by peers can have dramatic effects on children later on in life.
Yeah.
According to research published in The Lancet Psychiatry, adolescents who are bullied by peers actually have worse long-term mental health effects than children who are mistreated by adults.
Wow. Joining us now to discuss this is our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi. Dr. Nandi, good to see you with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be on the now, right?
Yeah,
Here we are on the now,
love
right
to
now.
have you here. All right, talk about this. Did this study surprise you, first of all?
You know, it's surprised the authors, but not me, because I felt like what the study's saying is that the kids, if kids bully you rather than adults, it's more significant, and that makes sense because you see your parents a couple hours a day, but you see the kids all day long.
It's
so
a peer pressure thing.
It's a peer pressure, and then it's the persistence of it. One thing about bullying is it's almost always repetitive. So people who are getting bullied on a constant basis or repetitive basis, they're going to school or they're in a sports team, that repetitive bullying actually has more significance than an adult who doesn't see you as often. I think that's how I would rationalize it. So it didn't surprise me as much as the authors.
What kind of long-term mental health issues are we seeing for these kids who are, again, bullied by their peers?
You know, it's an important question. So we say, what happens to these kids? Is it just a rite of passage? Because before, people say, well, toughen up, Johnny. Why, you can't sit there and just always whine. Here are the facts, is that when you get bullied, you have a lot of repressed emotions because you feel powerless. Think about it. You go into school where you can't control your environment and people are abusing you. So what happens is that leads to anxiety and depression later on. And that's why you have more suicidal ideations and all the psychiatric manifestations, not only as a child, but later on as an adult. Mike Tyson came out just probably a couple of days ago saying his effects of bullying as a child led to long-term effects. Me as a child, I was an immigrant, I was bullied for a couple of years, so I know what the effects can be.
Yeah, it can stay with you forever, as this study is finding. Let's talk about how we can try to prevent kids from bullying other kids.
Yeah, I think the main thing, let me talk about myself.
Sure.
The main thing was people didn't understand. I came when I was about 9 from India, and people at that time didn't see people from India, so it was a lack of understanding that the differences can actually be something that's great. So schools are now undertaking programs. They say being different is actually cool. And so instead of saying, you're different, I don't understand you, so I'm going to make fun of you until you become like me, or I show you that I'm better than you. Instead of that, if you have education, understanding, that's very cool. And then the second thing is that health education folks like me, providers, have to address and ask people about bullying. Don't have them come to you, but be proactive about it. And thirdly, the schools have to be more serious about it. This is a critical problem that so many of our kids are facing, so they should talk about it more.
Don't we also find that the bullies themselves need help?
That's
They've
exactly
been through
right.
a lot, right?
Exactly. Often they're bullied by adults and they bully.
Yeah, it's hard. Tough issue, but a lot of attention needs to be focused on it.
Exactly.
Dr. Nandi, thank you as always.
Hey, my pleasure.
Have a great weekend.
Take
Come
care.
back to the Now. We love
Absolutely.
to see you.
Anytime.
All right, thanks so much.
Feel so healthy.